Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and let's talk about the Flash and Arrow crossover part 2. So let's talk about this episode. I'm wearing my Flash shirt from the Arrow crossover, that way, yeah, there's a crossover in my videos too. But let's talk about this episode. So we get to see the Flash cast, or half of the cast. Cisco, Caitlin, and Barry go to Starling City to help out with, first, the Boomerang story, and also help solve Sarah's murder also. And they don't really do so that much. They do help solve the Boomerang story, but the Sarah story, not so much. I'll get to it. So they team up and they defeat the Boomerang, Captain Boomerang, but also it's about seeing the cast of The Flash see the reality of what's going on in Starling City. Things that they deal with The Flash is metahumans and I guess lighter tones of villains. And now they're seeing definitely a darker tone, death, people that are bad. They're definitely seeing a bit more in Starling City and learning more about villains and really the whole scope of the world. So I thought that was interesting. So Barry and Barry and Oliver both give something to each other. You know, Barry saying, "You are a good person, Oliver, and you should be more like yourself." And for Oliver telling Barry, of course, in that last episode, that you have to concentrate more. It's not just enough that you have power. So again, both of them learning something from this crossover. And also we could see Diggle get some advancement in his story arc, so him and Lila are going to get married. I don't think it's going to be anything official. I'm sure it'll be like a piece of paper saying they're married. I don't think we're going to have a whole episode of Diggle and Lila's marriage, but you never know with Arrow. I just don't think they're going to have room for it, but we'll see as the next half of the season goes on. And that's pretty much it that happens. In the end, we don't know who wins, Barry or Oliver, because they cut it right there. You knew that was going to happen, because then there's the whole war of who actually would win, what show's better, so they just cut it. I'd rather them not have the scene at all, but they did that, which was kind of predictable. So what did I think of the episode overall? I thought the first part was actually more fun than the Arrow episode. What I liked about the Arrow episode, of course, is bringing the Flash characters into the Arrow universe and still keeping the tone of Arrow. That's something I loved about this episode. But I think less happened here because of the crossover, and that's something that bothered me. I think because Flash is so early in the game, it really doesn't matter that the story didn't progress, because Flash's story is really not progressing that much. But I felt like there's a lot of holding back because of the crossover here, which is a bit of a disappointment. Of course it's fun just seeing these characters together and worth not having as much story progression with it, but I think some of the teasers that the producers were letting out made it seem like there was going to be more that happened here. Like it made it seem that Sarah, we would have a little bit more of a detail of how Sarah died, and we really didn't. It was just like, oh, well, I'm going to bring this to the lab and see what happens. So probably the next episode of Flash will get an answer for Sarah, or the next episode of Arrow, but we're not going to get it in this crossover, which it was a bit of a teaser, because like, oh, we're going to get another clue, and we really didn't, which is disappointing, because we all want to know who killed Sarah. My money's still on Thea, but who knows. So that's a bit disappointing. And then also Boomerang as a villain, I thought they made him bigger than he actually is. I mean, Captain Boomerang in the comics is kind of a joke. So to make him have share a cage with Slade, I don't know. Was it worth it that he's in that jail? Probably not. He's not that big of a threat. But again, it's the excuse to have Barry and Oliver go team up with each other. But I think I'd rather them discover more about Sarah's death than to have the Boomerang story. I think that would have been a smarter route to go with this episode, but character development-wise, it was great. We get to see some good character moments between Barry and Oliver and kind of redefine their characters in a way. We got a Kelvar suit for Oliver, which is great. Not much Thea in this episode, disappointed about that, but wasn't really expecting her character. Same thing for Laurel, but again, wasn't really expecting her character to be here. Cisco, I thought, was the MVP of this episode, though. Cisco made me laugh throughout the whole episode, and he had some great lines here. So Cisco definitely was the best part of this episode. But overall, I did like part 1 a bit better, but part 2 was pretty good. I'm really looking forward to the mid-season finale of Arrow. I think we're going to get a lot more there. Hopefully, answers to who killed Sarah. I hear that we are, so we'll see. And I think next episode will be really good. So, overall, this episode was pretty good. Of course, as a crossover, but kind of wish we got a little bit more story progression. But hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and their end situations. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, in the description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later.